Hello once again and welcome to our webinar. My name is Alena and I'm a Regional Development Manager at Galileosky. Today I'm here with my colleague from Gurtam, Tim. Today, Tim and I will tell you a little about how companies increase the efficiency of their agricultural business with the most flexible Galileosky hardware and the most customized Wialon platform.
Yes, hello everyone. Well, thank you for being with us here today. My name is Tim. I'm an implementation consultant at Gurtam. And yes, like Alena mentioned, we will be glad to tell you how using the advanced telematics devices and advanced platform, you can achieve great results in agricultural telematics.
Firstly, a few words about the webinar. Today we'll talk about a few aspects of such a global topic as telematics in agriculture. In particular, opportunities for working with geofences and fields, and also discuss why integrators choose Galileosky and Wialon as the core of their monitoring system and how they do this. As usual, the presentation will take about 1 hour and the record will be sent to all participants, so you can share it with your colleagues who didn't have an opportunity to join us today. During the presentation, you can text all questions you might have in the question tab, so we will answer them in the end of presentation. We also have the chat where we can share your thoughts and ideas with each other, so please welcome. For the start, let's define key challenges which agriculture companies need to manage. It will give us a better understanding what telematics can bring to the agriculture industry in order to achieve new results to reach new level of efficiency. Based on our and our partners' experience, we highlight the following general issues. In particular, how to harvest and store crops without losses, how to control time and accuracy of fields cultivation, and how to use the equipment more effective and avoid malfunction and downtimes. And what do Wialon and Galileosky capabilities help to our partners to manage all these issues? And to be honest, all capabilities, but let's consider a few specific, in particular, how to manage all the processes to complete everything in time and with the highest accuracy. How to monitor the harvest amount and storage conditions to reduce losses, no matter if it's about grain, milk, or other resources. And of course, to monitor parameters and the equipment operation and analyze how to improve parameters of each customer's units. Let's discuss how it's available. And start from the processes control and automation. What can you do? First of all, you can use identification by iButton keys or Bluetooth tags in order to create a flexible system for access control. You can also create drivers profiles on Wialon to rate them, to rate the drivers if it's necessary. Next, there are wide opportunities to work with geofences, both inside the tracker and on Wialon. For example, you can divide fields into different geofences and appoint particular vehicles and drivers on them. And you also have an opportunity to integrate and connect any periphery when it's required by your project, when it's required by your customer, and by your new tasks. Let's see how it works with one of our untypical projects where the integrator automated wine production. The whole production process includes several milestones from seed storage to bottles transportation. So each separate stage requires a separate solution and a separate control system. Let's have a look at them in general. Here you can see the general 6 steps, and the first and the second stages are about the microclimate control with various temperature and humidity sensors. So when any parameter, temperature and humidity should be changed, the tracker sends corresponding commands to the climate aggregate automatically without human operation. At the same time, all the equipment can be managed manually by a dispatcher, for example, through sending commands from Wialon platform to the tracking device. The third and the sixth stages imply control of proper operation of special machinery, both mobile and stationary. And the fourth and the fifth are about shipment of crops only after it's measured and the worker is identified. So all of these sub-processes are now automated with different peripherals, but by the only brand of GPS controllers and the only software solutions. Well, go further. The next challenge we mentioned is the harvest control. So what amount was loaded in fields and what amount was delivered to warehouse? What amount do we have currently? What kind? How it's stored? So Telematic provides different ways to receive this information for users. For example, identify trailered equipment with Bluetooth beacons to be aware that the right trailer arrives. Connect specialized sensors to measure different types of row. Integrate them via easy logic algorithms if it's needed. Connect the tracker to different units and assets to monitor and report their conditions, and many other features you wish. For instance, a few years ago, Russian granary owners faced losses of tens of millions of dollars due to grain thefts. During shrinkage and cleaning, grain loses weight, and as a result, workers have an opportunity to disguise grain manipulation as natural losses. Therefore, agriculture companies turn to telematics capability in order to develop the system which allows to control access to grain elevators and bunkers, control grain level with ultrasonic sensors in real time, and measure the volume taking into account natural changes of the grain state. The developed solution was approved by Russian Grain Union, so it's now deployed by the majority of agriculture companies across Russia. The last question we will focus on today is how to improve productivity of machines and assets, and this is an absolutely unlimited field of work for the integrators. Flexibility of monitoring system based on Galileosky devices and Wialon platform allows to solve almost any task you have. In particular, monitor conditions of combines, tractors, and other machinery through CAN bus. Connect external devices like weight or pressure sensors, photo cameras, even solar panels if it's needed, or integrate any new one when it's necessary. If it's needed, display crucial information for the driver on the tablet or smartphone, for example, temperature inside the refrigerator, axle load, or trailer ID. And finally, check downtime reasons and minimize them. This task has always been some kind of pain for all companies, especially in the agriculture industry. Sometimes even a short downtime causes significant costs or losses for the company. The crop was not delivered on time. Milk was not delivered on time as well and was overdue. The stop of one combine caused a disruption in the whole production chain. The crop was not harvested on time, and etc. Therefore, it's very crucial to fix downtimes in case of occurring and analyze the reasons in order to predict and avoid them in the future. And let's see how this issue is solved in practice by Wialon and Galileosky users. One of our Russian partners has developed quite simple but very effective solution to fix downtime reasons. They built a system which includes Galileosky tracker, a tablet, and Wialon platform. These three components are linked by a special easy logic algorithm which has the following logic. When stopping, the driver has to indicate the reason on the panel. Reasons options are detailed in several levels, so the driver does choose relevant ones one by one. If the reason is not indicated, during a few minutes a buzzer is activated to notify the driver. After eliminating the downtime cause, the driver cancels the stop by pressing the special button on the driver panel. And next, the information about the downtime is sent to Wialon server for further analysis by the company management. As a result, the algorithm allows to record the information about stops and collect the statistics for more detailed analysis of equipment operation. And please notice that is the general structure of the algorithm only a few general steps without additional conditions and actions. So if it might be interesting for you, we have more detailed description of this process on our website galileosky.com, so you can study it. And if you need additional details, please please feel free to contact us. We are ready to describe it more details. Well, this is how the solution is done on the hardware side. And now I'd like to turn the floor over to Tim. He will demonstrate how the collected information is processed on the software side. So, Tim, please welcome.
Yes, thank you very much, Alena. Now we are proceeding with the case discussion. But before we jump to Wialon settings, let me just briefly tell you how this case has been born. So, as Alena mentioned, this case originally was implemented in Russia. So we can say that this is a country with the developed agriculture, and a big number of users in Russia, end users, they are using special machinery for agriculture operations. So one more thing, the machinery and vehicles that these users are using is usually like high efficient. It means that it should be working most of the time, because if there's idling, it means that some expenses appear, and customers are starting to lose the money. And another reason is because usually such operations as harvesting or sowing must be done within a limited time frame, because that's how agriculture works. If you are not doing this on time, it means that you put your harvest and you put your crops in danger. So this leads us to the fact that idling usually costs a lot for end users. And in this particular case that our partner has implemented, it's like they say that even 20 minutes of idling cannot be neglected, because again this leads to high cost. So so this is why our partner decided to implement this solution that will allow the end user to reduce the idling. And one more important thing is that the end user also wanted to see the reason of idling, because if you're using regular hardware and just a regular platform, you can see that the vehicle is not moving, it's idling, but you cannot see the reason. And this is not the case, because the end user wanted to reduce the idling, and he also wanted to see the reason, because there can be different reasons for idling. So this is why our partner has interviewed them and asked a couple of questions to identify what are the main reasons of idling. And he managed to discover a few reasons for idling. So the first one is some technical problems. You know, when the vehicles cannot move for some reason because of mechanical problems or because of clogging that occurred. But there are also some other types, like, for example, logistics problems. If we are harvesting the grain and you know, the machinery that is harvesting the grain is called combine. So when the bunker is full, it means that we cannot continue harvesting because the bunker is full, the machinery is full, and it waits for another vehicle to be unloaded. So this is why it's a kind of logistics problem. Or, for example, such combines, they never return to the fuel station. There are special vehicles that deliver fuel to such machines because these machines are slow and it takes a lot of time to refuel. So refueling can also be considered as another logistics problem. Also, weather or soil conditions, when you cannot start harvesting or doing some other operations because it's too wet or it's too dry. And another main reason that our partner managed to identify is the changeover. When the drivers are working in shifts and you need to change the driver. So after identifying these reasons, our partner invented this solution which allows the driver to select the reason of idling. And in this case, he used Galileosky device with easy logic technology, and also a driver panel with some buttons. This is like a separate physical device that can be connected and using to the tracking device, and using these two solutions, like this, the hardware, the driver can select the reason of idling. And just one important addition is that the driver is obliged to select the reason of idling, because otherwise he will hear a buzzer signal, and if he ignores this signal, then the idling will be counted as a rest, and the driver will not receive his salary. That was the hardware side, but once the driver selects the reason for idling, this information will be sent to Wialon, and then we can see how this works on Wialon. So let's do it now. Just 1 second. Can you see my screen now? I mean, Wialon screen. Okay, great. So here we have a Galileosky device. It's 7.0, but it's because the project has actually been implemented a few years ago. Now you can use newer Galileosky models like 7X. Because it's a customer data, we cannot show you some sensitive information, you know, like IMEI number or plate number. But anyway, I will show you how the configuration is done. So as soon as we receive the information from a device, and as you probably know, Galileosky devices can send a great number of parameters to monitor. So here we have things like ignition, fuel level sensor, even trailers are sent as well. But the main thing is that we have here is that we've got a sensor created for each idling reason. So you can see here emergency idling, logistics idling, technical idling, routine idling, soil idling. So for each of the reasons, for each of possible reasons, we have a sensor created, and that's how we are able to use sensors in reports. So for those of you who haven't heard about Wialon before, we can create a virtual sensor for each parameter that the tracking device is able to send, and then as soon as we create these sensors, we are able to monitor, to use them in real-time notifications and also in reports. So as you can see here, for each idling reason, we have the custom digital sensor created, and that's how we can control idling reasons. And there's also a common sensor for all of the reasons to show to the fleet owner. So you can see that there are different reasons like meal break, technical break, weather conditions, soil conditions, waiting for repairment, repair works, and lots of other idling reasons that the driver has to select using the display. As soon as we have sensors created, as I mentioned, we can use them in notifications and also in reports. So let me show you how it's done. We have a notification panel, and here we can select the vehicle which will be put under control. Like in this case, it's a tractor. Then we can select the notification type. Now we have idling notification, but in this case we will not be using this. So actually we need sensor value notifications because we created custom digital sensors that act as on or off. So we will need to use sensor values, and then we can select custom digital sensors, because these are the sensors that we created for idling reasons. And then we will put one to the settings here. And then on the next step, we can select how we would like to receive our notifications. Real-time notifications can be sent to your email, to the fleet owner by SMS or to Telegram Messenger. They can also be displayed in a pop-up window, and they can also be sent to the mobile app if you install our mobile app from Google App Store, Google Play Store, or App Store, iOS App Store. So that's one of the means, real-time control. Like in this particular case, which has been implemented by our partner, he has a control center. He actually has a manager during the high season when the most important operations like harvesting or sowing are done. And because he has a control center, the manager can identify the problem in real time. So it doesn't take a lot of time to fix it using this feature. But also the customer is using the reports, and that's one of the reasons why this solution has been implemented. So we've got the report that is called Types and Reasons of Idling. So basically it's a report that will show you activation and deactivation of digital sensors. So you will be able to have type, beginning, end, duration, and driver. 1 second, I will switch to presentation once again. Okay, can you see presentation now?
It's good, thank you.
Okay, so yes, so regarding the idling, how do we see it on Wialon? We can see such things as number of idlings, then we will see reasons. We can also see the most idling vehicles on Wialon, and worst drivers with the maximum number of idling time. And of course, idlings by geofences. Right now, I will show you an example of such a report. So it's actually a report example, but because the case was in Russian, I had to translate it a little bit for you so that you could have an understanding about it. So as you can see, we've got the reason of idling here. Again, it's the information is based on a digital sensor like technical idling, soil and weather idling, scheduled idling, technical emergency idling, and some other things. So you can see the beginning, end, duration, driver, and we also have grouping applied here by date to be able to identify the date and also the unit with idling. And we also have the total amount and yes, total duration of idling. So that's an example of the report. And now let's see what kind of benefits the customer has got after receiving this solution. So using Galileosky devices, easy logic technology, sensors, and Wialon, the customer now has the ability to observe all of the data from vehicles, and he also has assets. Now he can see the reason and type of idling, and because he can see this data, he can now make some decisions. He can analyze the data, he can find the most common reasons for idling, and if it's a human factor, then probably he is able to minimize the human factor. For example, if the customer managed to discover that most of the idlings are related to drivers, being lazy, then in this case he can have a conversation with the driver, and if it doesn't help, then he can take some action. For example, if drivers continue to idle, then in this case some fines can be imposed on drivers. And this solution can be advanced even further. So actually, because we have an API, you can pull the data from reports, and you can use it in your own ERP system. And this is also the case with our partner. So he actually developed an application on top of Wialon, and in this application he's just pulling the data from Wialon, like ready-made data, not only idling, but also such things as working time, fuel consumption, and some other parameters using Galileosky devices. And he basically designed an application that combines this data and uses some kind of formula to calculate the efficiency, like working time versus idling and versus quality of work that has been done. So the same can be done by you. You can use our API to pull the data, and then you can use it in ERP systems. Yes, so that was the case. I guess that's it. And now we will be glad to answer your questions.
Yeah, we are sure that you have some questions, so please feel free to text them in our question tab. So we will be glad to advise you. So before new questions appear in the chat, we saw a few questions in our chat tab. So let us point them. So the question from Elsa: what type of sensors do we use for grain level? Thank you for question firstly. And if you mean some sensors which I mentioned in case example, so our partner integrated some ultrasonic sensors. Currently, I don't have an information about particular brand, but if it's required, we could check the information with our partner and send you example's name. However, if you have some specific sensors you consider to use in your project or for your customers, just let us know. We will investigate if this opportunity can be done via EasyLogic algorithms, because the majority of cases can't be done with EasyLogic scripting language. So in case you have some sensors, then we could help you to integrate it if it's needed. So you can use almost any sensors. The question from Jorge: it's a tablet. Could you please specify what do you mean by tablet? Do you mean like application? Do you have the links to the software demo? So Tim, I assume that the question mostly to you.
Yes, we can provide you with the demo, with the trial. I think we will. Our team will contact you after the webinar. Now we will be able to provide you the demo, fully functional like account with reports, notifications, etc.
The next question from Zebra: please show me any control panel Wialon of any user in any form. So Tim, please welcome.
Yes, so control panel. Yeah, sorry, just trying to understand the question. Could you please specify like what kind of control panel do you expect? Is it like for sending commands to tracking devices, or is it like more for like seeing all the information about your vehicles, like the dashboard? I hope that Zibora will explain. Yes. Yes, thank you. Let me share my screen one more time. So the end customer will be able to see this interface. There are a couple of tabs in this interface. So first of all, there will be a dashboard showing you some statistics about your vehicles, like how many vehicles are idling at the moment, how many vehicles are moving, and some other information, like, for example, vehicles inside geofences. Quite often our customers create geofences. Like here you can see that there's a field created. So you will also be able to see vehicles with geofences that are inside geofences. And lots of other information actually. So this is like a dashboard that will show you some general statistics. You will also be able to see some vehicles on the map. Like here is a city vehicle, but you will be able to see your agricultural machinery as well, to like real-time information, whether the vehicle is moving or not, battery level, some other things. And your customers will also be able to see reports tab. They will be able to run reports to see some history data, like trips report, idling reasons, any kind of report. And they will be able to see like notifications as pop-up windows. They will be shown in the right upper corner of the screen. So this will be useful if you have a control center that I mentioned, because there will be a pop-up window, and then you will be able to click a button like to handle that notification. So this is the interface of like our software, and if you're interested, we will be really glad to show you more, because normally it takes some time to show you all the opportunities that we have.
Thank you, Tim. So next question from Elsie: which brand of ultrasonic sensors do we use? Yes, as I mentioned, I don't have currently the specific brand, but if it's required, we could check which one our partners used, so I could share this information with you after the webinar, I guess tomorrow. Please explain more on the use of virtual sensors. Tim, so yeah, it's one more question to Wialon platform, so yeah, please show it.
Yes, I will share my screen one more time. So actually, when I was talking about virtual sensors, is just the way of configuring the data on our platform, because by default the device will be sending lots of parameters, like, for example, battery level, GSM signal strength, things like HDOP, or RPM, for example. So all of these parameters like will be sent as a raw data, and if we would like to use them in Wialon reports and in Wialon notifications, we just need to create sensors. So we are sort of like binding the parameter from a device with some real definition. For example, in this case, we're having a voltage sensor. We just need to specify the parameter. So it's just like a technical thing which is used to configure everything. You don't really have to be an expert in this, because our team can assist you with sensor configuration. Sometimes we even have ready-made presets. So it's just more like a technical thing. Because by default, you don't need to monitor all of the data that is sent by the device. For example, not many customers need GSM status. Of course, this information may be useful, but most customers will need something different, like, for example, ignition state or battery voltage, but GSM signal may not be like really important. So yeah, this is just the way of working with our platform, and yeah, we will be glad to assist you in sensor configuration, including Galileo Sky devices. We have a nice video on our channel which describes how to configure Galileo Sky 7.0, I believe, but there's not a big difference between like newer models or older models.
The next question from Henry. Does Galileosky provide certificate of electrical testing? My country require electrical testing report in order to use imported electric devices. Yeah, Henry, thank you for the question. If it's necessary, we could provide you with test wrappers we have, so you can use them for your certification purposes. There are several testing results mentioned there, so you can use it, I assume. We could discuss it after the webinar, more details, so you agree if these test wrappers will be acceptable for you. Please explain hectarea app, Tim.
Yes, thank you very much. So I will share my screen one more time. So hectarea application is also a Wialon-based application. And it was specifically created for agricultural monitoring for those customers who would like to monitor fields. So the idea of this application is that you create some fields on the map, like geofences, and then using tracking device like Galileosky, you are able to see how your machinery, how your tractors or combines are moving along this field, making some operations. And the main idea of this app is that we can control how this cultivation and handling has been done. So for example, in this case, we've got the cultivated area, which is marked in green. Then we have we can switch on omissions to see on the map that the driver is not doing his job very well. So we can see that there are red lines on the map, they are omissions, and most probably like the driver was not like doing his job very well. And we can also have some general statistics like how many what is the area that has been already cultivated in percent. Again, overlaps, we can also track them, and also omissions as well, they can be tracked. And so the manager, as soon as we have this information, the manager, the fleet owner, can decide if the work on this field has been done properly or not. If he decides that it's okay, then we can we can approve this as a job that has been done. But if for example, if something is not okay, we can talk with the driver, and we can, I mean, the fleet owner can make him to redo the job. So that's the main idea of this application, is to control how fields are handled, processed, like various operations like harvesting, sowing. All of that can be done. Not only that, we have different operations, but the main idea is that we control how fields are being cultivated.
Thank you, Tim. The next question, do you have this CE marking? Yes, we have. If it's necessary, we are ready to share the declaration, the conformity declaration, so just free to ask us about it. Well, in case you have any question we haven't answered yet, or you have a project or technical task you would like to discuss now, please feel free to text. We are ready to advise more properly now.
Yes. Same here with Wialon. If you have any questions related to Wialon, please feel free to reach us, and we will be glad to answer your questions.
Okay, in case there are no new questions, we would like to mention that our colleagues will launch the quiz here, so please take 1 minute to have a look at this to complete it. During you fill the quiz, let me and Tim thank you for joining us today. We hope the topic was interesting for you, and if you have some new questions or some new details you would like to learn more, please feel free to contact both Galileosky and Gurtam team. Team and I will be glad to advise you more properly, to tell more about some examples, some cases we shown you today. So if you have any questions, please welcome. We are always glad to help you, to assist you, and I hope that this topic was really interesting for you.
Thank you.